Welcome back with episode 2 of The New Horn. Welcome back, episode number 44 of the Love Boat Project. With me, as always, my co-host, Mike Robertson. Ahoy, Mike.
So did you play the boat horn?
I did play the boat horn. Was it
I
not
didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. I wonder.
No. Hold on.
Now we're ruined already.
Hold on. You know, we can just start over.
There you go.
There you go. I mean, there's
Now
boat
it feels
horn.
right.
There's boat horn. That's better. I think it was a volume issue.
People have come to expect it already. You know,
I don't want to disappoint anybody with the lack of volume on the welcome aboard horn.
No, especially me. I would be the most.
Well,
anyway,
yeah.
So
Here.
if that felt like a wild opening to our show, you ain't seen nothing yet. So.
This was something special. But we're here to talk about.
Here's all I'll say. We sometimes get mad when they're boring. And we always sit here and say, I'd rather them take giant swings. This is very possibly the biggest swing of an episode they've taken. So.
You know, I feel like at this point I stand corrected already. Save the big swings, because this was... good thing it was an extra 30 minutes long this week to really
Jesus. I hate the 90-minute ones. They're so much worse than the two-parters.
So we are here to talk about the Love Boat Season 2, episode number 21. And so begins the title, Tug of War, A Good and Faithful Servant, The Secret Life of Burl Smith, and Designated Lover.
Awesome.
Again, this was a 90-minute episode. Funny enough, a 90-minute Fantasy Island was on right after this. So that was your Saturday night.
They did that. Whatever the last 90-minute one we had, I think that was the same idea. So
I wonder if we went back and saw the Fantasy Island episode that came on after the Love Boat episode. After you were done with this episode and you felt completely brained, I don't know how you could sit through this with commercials and then go, give me 90 minutes more. Like, I'm wondering if that episode was just like Shakespeare.
What else does Aaron Spelling have in the tank for us this week? It's like,
good Lord, another 50 stories. Original air date on this piece of art was February 17th, 1979. 8 p.m. to 9:30. One of my favorite segments on the show is the What's On. That's where you'd insert some fun music right there.
Right.
Yeah. CBS. So again, we're crossing over into two blocks of hour television.
Right.
So you're in the 8s and in your. So this is 8 to 9:30, which again is pretty early for the Love Boat. For some of this sauciness.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was a little sauciness in this one. So yeah.
CBS, 8 o'clock, The White Shadow, episode titled Spare the Rod.
Oh.
Ooh. Coach Reeves' personal stance on corporal punishment in the school is unexpectedly put to a test when a belligerent student forces him into a fight.
The coach?
The coach, Coach Reeves. He's against corporal punishment. What's it? I don't know what happens. He's just going to take it. But that's not corporal punishment. That's self-defense.
Yeah. Plus, it's just weird that a coach would have such a big stance on that. Like, it's just an odd thing to come down on.
Thing. That's just like, he's like B.A. Baracus. He won't get on a plane. Coach Reeves, no corporal punishment.
No.
Just say no to CP. Anti. So if that's not enough for you on a Saturday night on CBS, hang on. Because there's a TV movie on at 9 o'clock. Ooh, Mike. This is a good one, too. I wish we would have watched this instead. TV movie, Murder by Natural Causes.
Wait.
Yes.
That's a rerun.
Are you sure?
We did that one.
Let me tell you the synopsis, and you tell me.
Let me tell you the synopsis.
Oh, you tell me. Okay.
a lady tries to convince her lover to give her magician husband quite a scare, so he dies of natural causes.
An unfaithful wife, together with her lover, tries to kill her husband by scaring him to death. How did I not remember this? Hal Holbrook, Barry Bostwick, Richard Anderson.
We talked about it last week because Richard Anderson is Dr. Art Akers.
So
that's so weird. Did they really run it twice?
How long was it? I wonder how long ago it was on.
Like
prior
a month?
to this. Like a month. Yeah. It must have been a ratings bonanza.
Well, you get enough Holbrook.
Yeah. They love some Holbrook. NBC 8 to 9. Chips. A trucking company tries to put two independent truckers who were friends with Ponch and John out of business.
Of course. Oh, no.
So I don't
wonder if they're related to the lady truckers that we had last week.
Oh, that's right. They're always undercover, or they're
yeah. Trucks. I guess there's you know what's funny? I think sometimes when we talk about chips, I forget they're cops on motorcycles, not the motorcycle police. So I guess being involved in trucks is okay.
Well, I mean, the second letter stands for highway. You know what I mean? So tractor trailers, buses, etc.
Parkway. It's not Parkway. It's not.
Mm-mm. 9 to 10. Here's a weird one. It's BJ and the Bear. However, it's listed and it says it was preempted. So then I was like, well, what is that? What happened? So I went and did a semi deep dive on BJ and the Bear episodes on IMDb to figure out where was this episode. Okay. And the episode has like a number and a like season 1 episode whatever. There's no title. It's just there's blank. So I don't know what.
Because last week I believe was the season premiere.
That's right.
Even maybe the series premiere of BJ and the Bear.
So I don't know if this means, did they replay the pilot again? Is that but preempted? I always thought meant.
Yeah.
You know, your regularly scheduled programming will be shown.
Did the State of the Union have to go again?
The Republican response. I even went to the news to see, well, did something happen that day or that night that would have, but then I'm like, why wouldn't it affect
everything else?
Our favorite boat, but it would affect BJ. So I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Episode synopsis, again, from our friend IMDb. A chauffeur takes up with his employer. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
An 8-year-old blames himself when his parents separate.
I mean, they were beyond separating.
Well, not for long. Gopher has a crush on a cover model.
I mean, I guess that is technically true. That is not where we went. But.
No. And no mention of the straw that stirs the drink here, which we'll get to.
You mean Designated Lover?
No. Oh, I guess it is Designated Lover. I saw Burl Smith, and I don't know what happened there. My brain's a little mushy after this one.
Burl Smith.
Mr. RJ from Oakland.
We'll get into that.
Mike, let's get into the guest stars first.
Yeah.
I just want to say right off the get-go, there was a significant Kernsing.
Very much so. There was. And I think we almost had a reverse Kearns. Not egregious, but the lines per portal were definitely not even this week.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I thought it was interesting to see how Sherman and my least favorite name, Millicent. I must have typed that name 1,000 times in these notes. Like,
see, let me say right now, I will be referring to everyone by their real name except the rich old lady. So I am not even worried about character.
Yeah, I don't even. It doesn't even matter.
Nope.
But the young actor that played Lucas, this was the most egregious Kernsing, perhaps, in the history of the show.
Well, and it's funny. I think maybe the other most egregious Kernsing was the other kid. It was Theo Dennison.
Yep.
Stubby winner for best kid. You know,
thought he was great. I mean, I'm not going to say Lucas was good or he was bad, but
Well, and bait. The kid could cry on demand.
He could cry on demand. That kid could cry. I mean, that was, you look at him and look away, look back,
Yeah.
he's crying. Like, Lucas, you.
And it's one of those things where sometimes we have like 9 cast members, right? So you can at least understand them being a little stingy. There wasn't with this.
No.
Last week they were giving Joyce Brothers one.
Well, you'd think they would throw an extra one on there simply because it's a 90-minute episode. If you have an extra story.
Plus, like, that's an investment. What if that kid turns out to be the next Tatum O'Neal?
You never know. You never know. And you saw him here first on the boat. I thought he was
Introducing Billy Corgan, or whoever that kid's name is.
He was good. First guest star, David Hedison. Here's a reminder. Julie, how's your cat? There we go. From season 1, episode 7 of the podcast. How about a little scarecrow, everyone? David Hedison as Sherman.
This is our, if you don't count Julie, because the crew automatically gets one, this is our first returning Stubby winner.
Yes.
I had to double check. So I did check the end of the Stubbies last season just to see who had won.
Glad you checked that. That is that's interesting.
Mr. Hedison won for best villain. A spirited argument between you and I on that award. Actually, I was surprised to learn.
Who were the two?
Who did you say? I had to make an impassioned plea for Buddy Stanfield to win. Your choice was not bad.
Yeah,
but you were going with Kurt Stansel.
Oh,
Man About Town.
I stand by that.
Yeah. So I watched this episode in a weird way. I watched it in 3 parts because of life. And so when David Hedison shows up on screen, I'm like, that voice sounds so familiar. But I did not place that it was Buddy Stanfield at first. And as soon as I did, I hated that character even more than I already hated him. So
just in doing, like, I did the research on the guest stars ahead of time. So I knew what I was seeing. So I was already prepped to hit the boo button. Because that guy, boo.
Worse. I mean, listen, spoiler. He might be getting a second one.
Yeah, he just
bad.
Bizarre. And we're going to see him 4 more times on the Love Boat.
Great. Can't wait.
Celeste Holm as Estelle Castlewood, Academy Award winner, Mike. Academy Award winner, Best Supporting Actress in 1947. She also appeared in the Love Boat pilot movie.
She looks incredibly familiar.
Yeah, she has that face.
But I really thought she was going to end up being like one of the old ladies that we had seen in a previous episode or something like that. She just looked very familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thelma Hopkins is Cleo. Family Matters, Give Me a Break, Bosom Buddies.
Love her.
She was in everything. She's great. Great
timing. She was in a lot of stuff that we watched as kids. Yeah, and she's criminally underused in this episode.
That was a shame. The good news is we're going to see her 3 more times on the boat.
Good.
So she's got 3 more swings at it. It's fitting that we're recording episode number 44 as I bring up our next guest, Reggie Jackson. I just got to say, Mike, this is a big one for me. I have goosebumps thinking about it. I idolized Reggie Jackson as a kid. Posters all over my walls. I used to eat the Reggie candy bar. I went to my first game in 1979 and got to see him play, and then got to see him play many, many times for Anaheim over the years.
This is 1979. It's the same year. How about that? Yeah.
Catfish Hunter's last game as a Yankee is the first game I went to.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool because it's a nice glimpse into how athletes were thought of back then.
Yeah.
And we've talked about sports references on this show, and it's a very small list of people that you can reference on a show like this in 1979, right? So to then jump that and have the actual athlete itself, you're probably only talking 5 or 10 people that could even be in the mix. Then throw in the fact that really for about half this episode, Reggie was the best person in this thing.
He was.
Like,
he was
really good.
He was great.
Until he starts giving the speech to the kid, he is excellent.
Oh, he's good.
Then it kind of goes
cap on and
yeah.
So if for those of you who don't know Reggie Jackson, famous baseball player, known as Mr. October. Just to let you know why, he hit 3 home runs in Game 6 of the 1977 World Series. Last little bit, he played a total of 21 seasons. And I thought this was interesting. He reached the postseason in 11 of those seasons and won 6 pennants and 5 World Series in 11 trips to the postseason.
That was not in the old days when it was easy to get to the World Series from the playoffs.
He was, dear to my heart. I thought, I was so happy to see him and then so mad that they put him in this complete dog shit episode of the Love Boat. I really was torn. It really bothered me. I'm like, oh, Reggie, they put you in some terrible.
But you had to take solace in the fact that he was good. At least
he was good.
It wasn't like, and it obviously was ham-fisted baseball references, especially as we went on. But it didn't have to be.
No, it didn't have to be. The other thing I thought was interesting is just his appearance. Nowadays when you see an athlete, they're just like ripped. And Reggie sort of had the physique of like a in shape, but like regular guy.
I always thought he was like country strong, right? Like, you're right. He wasn't cut, but I mean, who was back then?
Yeah, nobody was, but he just could, kind of like that Bo Jackson thing. He was just born strong.
It's also interesting with Reggie Jackson because like, he looked, and this is the off season, obviously, and the Yankees have their weird like facial hair rules and everything, but he looks more like Oakland Reggie Jackson than the Yankees Angels with the glasses and like all that stuff. So it was interesting.
That's off season RJ right there.
He set a high bar for future actors, athletes. So
I agree. He didn't disappoint.
No,
the episode let Reggie down. That's what happened here. Like we were all let down.
Yeah, it was kind of like one of his lesser baseball teams, right? Oh. He still had an all-star season, but
yeah, when you make the all-star game and you're playing for the Angels, it's a little. Was it Joe Namath as a Ram? It's kind of one of those deals. Just like I
can see Joe Namath on this boat. That's a good question.
Totally.
Without looking, which we haven't. Who's the next active athlete? Or, close enough active, like that kind of thing.
Well, they did mention O.J. Simpson in this episode.
And I got to think he gets in there at some point.
Yeah. They mentioned Pete Rose, but there's zero chance.
I have no chance Pete Rose on this boat. No. Yeah, I don't know that we're getting another baseball player.
God, I wish Dykstra would hop on the boat unexpectedly. Like, he's not, where is he? He's not even listed.
Like,
where's
Steve
Nails?
Garvey, because he's in L.A.
Steve Garvey. Yeah, I could see that.
But I just can't see,
Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be terrible. Only if he dresses like the wizard from the baseball bunch.
Or like Chef Borga's brother or something. Just Haley Mills as Cheryl Tyson. Her sister Juliet's also on this episode, who played Millicent. We'll see her again in season 3 and in season 8. She's coming back 2 more times.
Haley Mills, of course, Parent Trap, which if you had a sister, or if you at least had my sister, you saw it about 100 times because my sister loved that movie. And then she, in about 10 years from this show, she would be the initial teacher on Saved by the Bell before they kind of moved them all to California. But this is like a weird middle time for her. And so whatever you think of that storyline, you got to give her credit. Haley Mills went for it
100%.
Like she was not too good for whatever they were trying to do in that thing. She was
all in. I respect that, especially for a guest star. Ooh, yeah, her sister.
Her sister is now, I believe, the second nominee.
Yeah.
For the Iron Man or whatever we call that award, where you've been on multiple episodes in the same season. But her appearances have gotten progressively worse.
Well, she was Barbara Danver in season 1 in the
she was like the aggrieved wife, right?
That's
and
right.
And then she was Robert Goulet's aggrieved wife.
That's right. She's great as an aggrieved wife.
And now she's Buddy Stanfield's aggrieved wife, and it's just gotten progressively worse. Although they love bringing her in for the long episodes.
They really do. They really do.
I learned a fact about her.
Yeah.
While researching her father, who was also in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what Juliet Mills's maybe claim to fame ended up being in the late 90s, early 2000s? This blew my mind, not only because I can see it as soon as I saw it, but that was amazing to me, A. B,
this is Juliet Mills?
Juliet Mills. This is her third time on the show. We both have hosted episodes, which means we've both researched her. I did not know
see her
this.
4 more times after this, too.
Good. I'm okay with her. I like her. I hate the way they ended that storyline, but
I don't know what's the and again we've both researched her, but I didn't.
Okay. So her father, John Mills, a very famous British actor.
Yeah,
he passed away. He passed away in like the mid 2000s, and I guess he had gotten sick and was unable to attend the Daytime Emmy Awards in the mid 2000s. I was like, that's weird. Why would he be going to the Daytime Emmys? He was going because his daughter Julia was a nominee and I believe a winner for playing Tabitha, the witch in Passions, who had Timmy.
What? Passions? Is that the next project? The Passions project? Oh, I know Passions. And
you remember Timmy, the little.
I remember Timmy.
Yeah, that was her. She's the witch.
That's ridiculous.
I cannot believe that we made it through 3 of these with her. I was so excited. I almost had to make a Martimmy. I was so excited.
A Martimmy.
So
that's funny. That's great. We talked about her father, John Mills. He played Bertram. Bertram McDonald, tons of TV film, father of both Haley and Juliet Mills.
A sir.
Oh, Sir John Mills.
A sir, which I was trying to think. Have we had any other sirs?
We must have had at least one other sir.
We haven't had weird things. We haven't had a ton of British men.
Well,
he wasn't on.
No, he wasn't. I don't know.
Hello there.
There's so many sirs.
Yeah, I just don't think we've had a lot of British men. Was Roddy McDowell a sir a couple weeks ago?
He should be a sir. I love Roddy McDowell. Well, that's the housekeeping before we sort of get on this 90-minute cruise here, Mike. Anything to add before we jump on the boat?
I'd like to discuss some heroes from season 1 who I believe maybe have fallen from their perch.
Okay.
Art Barr and Ben Jolson are back.
Yeah, I saw that.
They wrote Tug of War, which is the aforementioned Millicent storyline, which is quite frankly terrible and has no logic to the end at all.
Nope.
So I looked at what they had done this season.
You're talking about in terms of writing or in terms of like their overall involvement?
The storylines that they have done so far in season 2.
Okay.
Because as we know in season 1,
we loved them. They were money. They were great.
They wrote the best part of episode 5, which won the Stubby. Like they won. They were a lot of great ones, right? So, just what do you think of when we think back of these storylines this year? So they did Isaac's holiday in the opener. When Isaac was captain.
That was okay.
It was certainly better than the other stuff on that episode.
Absolutely.
So that was
good. As far as the storyline, that was a good one.
Julie's parents, which I don't think was good in addition to Norman Fell being bad. Like, I don't think that was just an acting problem.
Yeah, separating him from the story. I mean, it was fine.
They then did the Jimmy Walker Ghost.
Okay. That's not so good.
They then did the Captain's Cup.
Ooh, that's not so good either. Yeah,
and now they did this one. Now they're back with this one, and now they have storylines, and I think the next 3 or 4 episodes. So we're going to see them a lot. So it's time to put up or shut up for Barr and Jolson.
Expect to be underwhelmed because they are on a downward trajectory.
Yeah, that was not a great. It was funny. I was like going through, and I was like, oh, I wonder how this is going to look, and then I'm like, well, I think all of those, not the Isaac one, but all the other ones have, let's call them distinctive acting choices in them, where it's hard to blame the writing, but
it's not good.
Are you writing Schneider polishing the banisters? Are you?
Well, and the thing is too, without sort of giving away what happens because God forbid nobody wants a spoiler alert for this.
Yeah.
It's just that story. The storyline for this, the tug of war. There was no They just had nowhere to go, and they went. There was zero logic. It was a lazy way to wrap things up.
It's like and you know what? Honestly, this happened in a lot of the episode, which for a 90-minute episode is inexcusable. They did not. There were massive gaps.
Yeah.
Of just things that were not either fleshed out or explained that would have helped a lot.
You had time for it. It's not you had time for, 65 dream sequences.
Right. And that's honestly the other storyline where I think it was, we'll get to it, but that was the other story. There were at least two of the storylines where I feel like there was a scene they didn't shoot or write.
Right.
That would have helped a lot.
Exactly.
So.
Well, it's just like that thing, we talk about the last name thing, right? Cheryl Tyson, Bertram McDonald, Estelle Castlewood, Sherman, Millicent. Like, I'm just like, Clea, just give them, unless it's Cher or Madonna or something like that, like just give us.
Or the minister stripper.
Well,
Makes it
more, huh?
Do you think Bertram McDonald is Horace McDonald's brother?
Good call. Oh, I hope so. I hope
Captain
I hope he's connected in that universe. That would be great.
I'll be curious to see how I feel at the end of this, because I do feel like there was some good acting in here.
I agree.
And I respect the swings, but also there were just some real holes.
Yeah, Ben Johnson.
It wasn't boring.
Yeah, no, it wasn't boring. Okay. Having said that, let's get this party started. I'm on the ship. Here we are. We start the show. We see Gopher sleeping. And he's talking to someone named Cheryl in his sleep. We hear a knock on his door, and it's Doc. And he enters Gopher's cabin. I would sleep with my door locked. Just saying, just right off the bat, it's a little.
So my first question.
Yeah.
People are boarding. Doc says that, right? So
exactly.
We have seen episodes where Gopher is showing up to work late. So why is Gopher in bed? Like we have been led to believe there are days in between ship cruises, right?
Sure.
And I don't think it's his dorm room, but does Gopher live on the boat?
Seems
Nancy Walker style, I guess.
And he may have narcolepsy, apparently. He's just falling asleep all the time and going just into a deep REM and deep dreaming state.
Like when you go into the office, do you I go in at 8, I take a power nap in bed, and then I get my day started? Like,
that would be awesome if someone did that. I'd love to witness that. Hey, don't mind me. Can you guys keep it down? I'm gonna get a quick, quick PN.
I'm having a very vivid dream.
We see a poster-sized picture of Cheryl, and then
that has never been there.
It's never been there, and it is a huge space commitment in this tiny cabin. Like it's his entire wall.
Now, the poster. I'd like to talk about the poster for a second. So
the undershirt or just the poster?
Well, the pose, I think. So
it's not very modern.
Obviously, like the famous poster in the 70s is the Farrah Fawcett one, right? But she's looking at the camera.
Right.
It's a pose. This looks like somebody took it
off the portal shot.
Yeah, or like it's almost like a yearbook photo candid.
It's almost like she's wearing in the picture exactly what she wears when she gets on the boat too.
Right,
So it's
and
like,
she's like this.
Yeah, I don't know.
What poster company is like, yep, that's the one. One eye, looking the other way, mouth agape.
Just maybe she's a curl model. She just models the curls on her head. I don't know, but it's an odd.
She also, for being such a famous model, had zero people on the boat paying attention to her besides Gopher.
Reggie, nobody knew who she was. She didn't have any.
No, no entourage.
I thought she might be a bit old for the supermodel thing. And I don't mean to sound like a jerk by saying that. I just got an older vibe from her. I thought she looked older. I don't know how old she was supposed to be, but I feel like she looked a bit older than like a supermodel would look
Yeah,
being
and
on
I
a
guess it
poster.
depends on. I guess it depends on what supermodel they were kind of trying to go for, right?
Or very
Because it was a
specific,
cover girl,
like,
right? It wasn't a supermodel,
that's
which
what I'm
is a little
saying.
different.
For what?
Because I almost
Cover girl
wondered if
for
it was
what?
more of a Cheryl Tiegs thing.
Like mid-30s English ladies? Is that what is that the calendar she was in?
I think
it didn't make sense.
I looked it up. I don't think she's as old as you think at the time of the shooting. I think she's like late 20s, early 30s.
I could
I will also say, and I know what you're saying, it was a very interesting look for her.
yeah, it was
Um,
just weird.
yeah, and she never didn't look that way except in
No.
the dream sequences. So if you were kind of, they didn't really like play her up. Like there should have been a dinner scene where she was really like dressed to the
Dolled up,
nines, and they
looked like
didn't
a
really
model.
have that.
She had the
But
same
again,
outfit on pretty much for 90
right.
minutes.
And again, that's one of the things with this storyline is they just didn't flesh her out at all. At
No.
all.
No, she was just the object of his whatever you want to call it, obsession,
Right.
or
Yeah.
you know. Doc yells, "Mr. Smith, move it now!" And I wrote the "now" in all caps, Mike, to show that he was yelling. Doc tells him to get up and to go to work before he gets fired. Gopher puts him on the pay no mind list, closes his eyes, and starts to talk to the picture of Cheryl. Okay, Mike,
Pretty
this is where the
lame.
episode goes right off a cliff. We are 2 minutes into the episode, sir, and we're already getting the first of many dream sequences.
And not a very different, like it wasn't that much of a dream sequence.
He was
right?
in bed. The only thing different was his bed was covered in animal skins, and he was wearing a blue robe, and there were 17 candles that were way too close to the picture of Cheryl. What? Who dreams that?
Yeah. Who dreams your apartment?
Like, oh, did you dream you could fly? No. I dreamed that I could hop on one foot for 10. I don't what. No,
I dreamed I got all these candles.
Yeah, it's 17 candles. Like it was crazy. Look, like the picture is the same size.
Well, especially, and I guess you could say, if you want to try and give him credit, you could say like the dream sequences escalated in grandeur as we went, but the first one didn't throw me because it was like, oh, okay, we're gonna have.
Well, he's in bed.
We're
like,
gonna.
To me, like
it was the second one that threw me when I was like, oh, I see what we're doing.
All of them. The whole cigarette fiasco in the last one.
I knew. I said to Michelle before I came up, I was like, Mike's gonna hate the dream sequences.
Jesus, man. He tells the picture of Cheryl that he accomplished the following. He climbed Mount Everest, dream sequence people, took a surfboard over Niagara Falls, and he walked a tightrope across the Grand Canyon on stilts. Waka, waka, waka. Gopher's then woken up again by Doc, and Gopher reluctantly gets out of bed.
Hot start.
Enter Bertram McDonald and Estelle Castlewood. Bertram's helping Estelle on the ship. And I was like, at this point, he looks like he's her butler / chauffeur, some sort of servant working for her.
Yeah, he's got the chauffeur hat.
You got the hat, like...
Seems like he's the head of the house kind of thing because she's kind of leaving instructions for the gardener and things like that.
Very professional, too. And it's funny, they never brought up the instructions, like... She's going to get home and her house is going to look like crap because he never delivered
that's a good point. Do you think he did a ship to shore?
To the gardener? Yeah.
Well, didn't somebody steal the silverware last time?
Yeah. You got to be careful. Bertram says bon voyage to Estelle. And after she boards the ship, he pulls out his cruise ship ticket. And I love how they show, like, we'll take all doubt by showing the name on the ticket, which is now... the clipboard. He has a physical ticket with his name.
Right. And
there's no matching.
And the room.
Yeah. So he just found his. So what are they doing?
Exactly. So,
I could see
why
if
are you
someone's like confused, like directing traffic, but what's the
right?
clipboard have on it? It's
Well,
on your ticket. Where's my
it's
room? Let me see your
right,
ticket.
right. Or
They've
read your
never asked for a
ticket.
ticket.
Yeah,
They've never asked for a ticket.
yeah. It's not like you get on the plane with your seat assignment and then you just start wandering up and down
Yeah.
the roads, right? It's
Like, what do you do? Right, right. Because you know why? Because if you did, somebody'd go, "What can I do for you?" And
right.
they'd go, "Where are you sitting?" They go, "Can I see your ticket?"
It asked more questions than it answered, but
It's ridiculous, man.
I paused it and I saw the
Mhm.
name like live, right? So I was
Yeah.
like, let me just go back and look at this ticket. When they had the cabin assignment, that blew my mind because I really don't know what Gopher and all have been doing this whole time.
Mm-mm. Uh, um, so, and he takes off his hat and boards the ship using an entrance that I've never seen anyone
It looks like the
go to their
crew
cabin.
entrance.
Yeah, it was weird. And it was almost near that place where he was shining that pipe and making those comments to Carol Brady. What's his name?
Oh,
It's like it's in
Schneider.
that same area. Yeah,
Well, he probably. Oh, it's. That's why that makes sense. Then it's the common man's area.
Common Man. That's where
Yeah, it's the
Dusty
common man
Rhodes.
entry.
That's where Dusty Rhodes went into the cruise ship. Uh, Reggie. That's a terrible way to chant his name. I should have done so much better.
Yeah,
I'm just a little bitter. Reggie bumps into Isaac. He looks at him. I thought there was going to be a fight right there. I was like, oh,
it's
Reggie
very
and Isaac
huggy.
are about to, yeah.
Yeah.
He looks at Isaac and says, freight train. And Isaac says, Reggie. Interesting thing here. Isaac says that he can't wait to introduce him to his two best friends because nobody believes that he's buddies with Reggie Jackson. Doc and Gopher?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't think Isaac and Julie are best friends. Plus,
No.
Julie wouldn't care who.
No, she wouldn't. She would
Yeah.
try to marry him or something. Sorry, Julie. Uh, Reggie tells Isaac that he doesn't want anyone to know that he's on the ship. Reggie asks if he can explain it to him. And Isaac's like, well, let me meet you in my cabin in 10 minutes. And I'm thinking, why don't you just tell him right now? You're the
You're
bartender
not
on the ship.
doing
Nobody's even
anything.
on the ship. Like,
Also, he just kind of like gives these vague directions about his cabin.
yeah.
Also, isn't your cabin locked? Like,
Well, what's Reggie supposed to do in the meantime? Just hide? Like hide behind a plant in the hallway? Like, it's, uh, we meet Millicent and Lucas. Again, I wrote Lucas was kernsed. No portal for you, sir. Enter Sherman. No last name. By the way, enter Sherman. Boo,
oh, the
heel,
worst.
boo.
Worst.
He's Lucas's dad, and he tells Lucas that he's coming on the cruise as well, and he hands him a gift. Millicent is not. She is not happy with this news
Well,
at all.
they make it pretty clear that there's been a custody hearing.
Right.
This is her weekend.
He just shows up.
Well, in fact, I believe she said she has custody. He gets every other weekend.
Every other
so he
weekend.
really
Yep.
he gets 4 days a month.
Yeah. So he just
so,
yeah, that's not well, I wonder how he found out about like the details because it's
The
one
kid
thing to
talk.
know someone's going on a cruise, and it's another
kid
thing
talk.
to go. Yeah, the kid talk. Good
the kid
call.
talk. He talks to the kid all the time.
Yeah,
I will say this: he is an asshole, but he's probably an attentive father. In terms of like talking to the kid, like I think he's definitely making a lot of phone calls.
I think he's making a lot of phone calls, and I think I can almost hear coming out of his mouth like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to make it up to you," like one of those kind of things. I just feel he loves his son, but he's a very busy guy, the Sherman. And I say,
he's got a lot of real estate deals. He's got to make in Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, he's got a.
He's living like a quadruple life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's got a couple passports, dual citizenship. Like
there was no reason for them to cross paths, but they very deliberately did not have Julie in any scenes with this guy. So I give them credit for that. You got to at least have one appearance in between. Like they never did it with Robert Urich and her. They were always together. But yeah, you gotta separate that when it's that bitter.
And obvious too.
Yeah. What if Julie was just in the background tearing up his picture again?
Just so mad. Imagine if his real name was Sherman and this is the wife and the whole thing, and it's like part of the whole.
I mean, I looked at him as the same guy.
Yeah, I kind of did too. I kind of had the same. Like I had a lot of disdain.
And you know what? You know what's even worse? Same result. No comeuppance.
Yeah, no co-op. Completely. Not only was it not comeuppance, it was just
unearned.
Zero logic went into it. Yeah, you'll see. Completely unearned. That's a good way to describe it. She pulls Sherman aside, tells him that she has custody of Lucas, and Sherman has him on alternating weekends. He gives Lucas a gift. It's binoculars. How much fun are binoculars on a cruise ship? Oh, look, kid, look, water.
I mean, it's more fun than at home, I guess. I don't know. Everybody was really jazzed about the view this week, so
yeah, they really were. Like water, like yeah,
everywhere.
It's everywhere. Millicent is irritated. Tells Lucas to move along. All right. Gopher and Julie exiting the Sausage King elevator. I'd love to put a little plaque on that thing. Gopher sees Cheryl boarding the ship. This is, come on. He tells Julie that his t-shirt has come to life, and he opens his shirt, and he has an undershirt with his picture on it.
You're an adult. You're an adult male. You have a giant poster of this woman taken by, I don't know, a bird watcher who caught her by accident. And
the Olin Mills studio, just this awful picture. Yeah.
And a t-shirt.
A t-shirt?
At work. And one of the problems with the Gopher piece of this is
it's too much, man.
It's too much. It's way too much.
They could have just, you don't need to go to 20
Keep your
with
foot.
This.
Here's the thing. You're doing the dream sequences. So keep the non-dream sequences in some basis of actual reality. But to go over the top with that and then follow it up with the dream sequences, it just
There's
was too
nothing.
much.
It's way too much.
There's just nothing to base it, like to keep your foot in, like.
But also, going that heavy-handed on that bothers me because Gopher's so good. You don't have to give him a lot for him to be great. You know what I mean? The little comments, the physical stuff. Right. Well, too much physical stuff in this one, but it's just.
Yeah. It's a
lot, man.
I don't know. Yeah. You almost have to take it as like it was almost like a Treehouse of Horrors situation where it's just like, this is not a normal thing. And we're giving Fred Grandy a chance to really show off his chops and everything.
He's going for the Grammy, bro.
But the storyline itself, you could have made it where it felt more real and then,
100%.
So
100%. Because it would have been almost funnier for at least a portion of the story to be serious or more serious, because I think it would have highlighted the absurdity in contrast.
Or here's a novel thought.
Yeah.
Let's flesh out Haley Mills a little bit.
Yeah.
For real.
You'd be like, I just want to get away. I'd love to go on a date with a normal person. And there's so much you could do.
Here's a great one, because the end scene of this thing would make a whole lot more sense if at any point they would have shared their interest in old-timey stuff. A lot of these dream sequences would have made more sense if that would have been a scene where it was like early on, or even he references, like, I read an article about her. She's really into old-timey stuff. I'm into old-timey stuff. Like,
she probably saw the giant, like, Stan Hardy poster in his room. But my question is, if she saw that and then she sees
the giant picture,
wall-size picture, like, what do you even? I have to think he had to take that down, right? When he was going to have dinner with her in his cabin.
He didn't know she was coming.
Oof. Yeah. Oof.
Stanley, there's a giant poster of me in this man's bedroom. I think he's going to try and have his way with me.
Gopher lunges towards Cheryl as he yells, Miss Tyson, can I just see you for and then Gopher trips over something. I don't know what he tripped over, but he went flying.
You know what he didn't do? He didn't injure his arm. We saw Gopher trip over a bag
You got
with
that
zero
thing?
running start last season
Yeah.
and had to wear a sling, homemade sling, the rest of the episode. This time he has a running start and he goes flying twice.
Well, let's not forget he did have a tree fall on him earlier this year. Maybe this is all coming from the palm tree
He's a
injury.
superhero now.
Yeah, yeah.
He's unbreakable. The
It's what he
unbreakable
is.
Burl Smith.
That's him. He works security at Penn's football stadium in the rain. Yep, that's him. Cheryl walks past Gopher as he lays on the ground. Oh, here's Stubing. We haven't seen him yet.
Stubing.
Cheryl approaches. You know, what's funny? Stubing is the least offensive thing about this. One of the least of. Well,
he was good.
He was good.
He was good because they just gave him comedy to do.
Yeah, he didn't have any captain duties to perform this week.
Nope.
Cheryl approaches Stubing and asks if someone can show her to her cabin. Gopher then peels himself off the floor to volunteer and immediately trips over luggage.
Like, it's one thing if I do that. You're on a boat. Apparently, you live on this boat. There's bags usually everywhere. Like, come on, dude.
Look, you ever see those sign spinners?
Oh, right? Yeah.
And they're so good because they spin them every day. Right. This dude deals with luggage every day of his life. And now all of a sudden he's tripping over. He can't walk.
This woman has rendered him useless.
He's so tired from all the dream sequences. He's not really getting any sleep. You know? He's restless.
Plus he's homeless. The homeless Burl Smith.
The homeless. That's funny. Stubing makes a joke about Gopher not having his sea legs. And he shows Cheryl to her cabin.
Got him. Way to go, Stubing. Just get right in there.
Oh, but wait. We're not done, Mike. It's time for another Gopher dream sequence. I told you.
This one is wild.
And we haven't even gone to commercial yet. This is 2 dream sequences. This time, Gopher's dressed as Admiral Smith. And I wrote, and Stubing is acting. Calls Stubing a nautical ninny.
Dressed as Adam Ant.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Don't drink, don't smoke. What do you do? Yeah. Call Stubing a nautical ninny.
But he's got this wild voice.
Yeah, he does each one. He's got. I think he's trying to be Richard Burton. Was he trying to do like a Mutiny on the Bounty kind of thing?
It was a lot.
Cheryl says that she's an admirer and shows her T-shirt with Gopher's face on it. Admiral Smith tells Cheryl to go wait for her in his quarters, and then he dismisses Stubing. Mike, this is 9 minutes into the episode, and we're already here.
Of a 90-minute episode.
Julie wakes Gopher up so he can help her with a giant line of people. Again, Mike, I don't know what they're waiting for, because if your ticket's in your...
Could you help me read my ticket, please?
Yeah, I do want to say Ticker Tape is back.
I liked it. I like it in small doses. They really mixed it up. I think it was Stanfield and the rich lady, and then it was John Mills and maybe one of his daughters.
One of them, yeah.
I was
fine with it.
I don't mind it as a like once in a while, not extended, or like we had said before, like if it fits the storyline,
100%.
You know, I don't really know who anyone except Haley Mills was waving to.
Yeah,
like 2 of the people came on the boat together, and Buddy Stanfield has no friends.
Who was in one of the older Ticker Tape scenes? Remember, there was a man in the earlier ones that was just blonde hair, and he was just in the background. Oh,
yeah, he was stalking.
Was the best.
He was stalking Jacqueline Smith.
Just
remember.
With his eyes, that's right. They met in the cab at the end. Like, to me, that's the greatest Ticker Tape scene
Episode 2. That's how long ago that was. Oh. Episode 2.
Wow. Oh.
We've been doing this for a while here, sir.
We have been. At 44, they're starting to add up.
Yeah.
Reggie is in Isaac's cabin explaining to Isaac how rough it is to be famous. And Reggie says, I just want to get some rest. So Isaac says, while you're on the cruise, you're not Reggie Jackson. He's RJ from Oakland. Quick note, I bet Isaac's cabin smells better. After he got rid of that nasty old fishing hat when he gave it to Todd Bridges.
How long into this conversation before he tells Reggie about Roxy Blue? Also, why does no one from Isaac's past know that he's on the boat?
Everyone's shocked.
Everyone's like, I didn't know you worked on this boat.
And everyone's like, man, it is a small world. You know what I mean? What a small... Unless the ship was sailing out of Oakland for a while. I don't know.
They make reference to junior high, and they make reference to Reggie and Isaac being friends in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie Jackson went to school in Cheltenham High School in the greater Philadelphia suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play for the Oakland A's until 1968. So unnecessary lying there, guys. You could have just said, well,
they had to
I've known you for 10 years, and I didn't know your nickname in high school. So.
Or it could have been like, hey, man, do me a favor. Will you do me a solid? Well, they don't know each other. Just, can you do me a favor? I don't want to be noticed. I just want to... You didn't have to have that link up.
I don't care that everything else I'm okay with.
I'm fine
with it. Because they have established that Isaac is from Oakland.
Right.
Reggie Jackson played baseball in Oakland. That's easy. But just
But not... Right. I see what you're saying.
Not high school buddies.
No.
Unless Isaac came to Cheltenham High School.
He did. He could. He was bi-coastal. Bertram is entering the pool area with a lady on each arm. Look at this guy.
Yeah, but they're his daughters.
I know. I wrote that too. I'm like, look at this guy.
Whole thing,
walking with his daughters.
This whole thing just felt like they really wanted John Mills, and he's like, I'll do it, but I want to do it with my daughters. And they were like,
I have
absolutely.
to dance with one of them, but not the other one. Yeah.
And I want to have a really weird, poignant scene with the other one.
That I don't dance with. Yeah.
But it's like, it didn't really distract me from it, but I did look at it in a different way.
I did a double take.
Yeah.
And I marked on here, I'm like, he's dancing with his daughters, just for the record.
Right.
Or he's walking in with his daughters. I'm saying, yeah, that was...
But John Mills was so charming that I don't care.
Great. No.
I really don't care. Yeah.
Because I know he has the best of intentions.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. I just feel like he's a classy gentleman.
Absolutely.
Bertram is asked if he's a salesman. His answer is very clever. Transportation analyst, amongst others. Dabbled in silver and thoroughbred dogs. Here comes Steubing. He's all, I'm all fired up. Let me ask a question. He says, are you involved in the markets? Stupid Steubing. This is your great question. Bertram says, I'm in and out of the market all the time.
I thought that was funny. Steubing, give him this. He is
magic
a
tricks
fellow. He is always interested in other people's professions.
Well, the most just ridiculous facts. Like, where are you from? You know what I mean? Like, what brings
He's
you
advertising people are animals.
I just think in captain school, maybe they should teach you how to ask, maybe harder hitting questions than, are you involved in the markets? Vague. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Listen, he's tired. He's had 2 straight actual captain's tables. He's exhausted.
Well, he just acted. He just acted in that dream sequence.
That's true. And hey, that acting is going to pick up here at some point.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be transformed. You won't even recognize him almost. I don't even want to.
Good luck explaining that one.
Oh, boy. Bertram is spotted by Estelle Castlewood, who's sitting by the pool. She seems stunned to see him. He walks over to Estelle and tells her that he's vacationing. She asks him why he wouldn't tell her. Here's where it gets interesting, Mike. He says, I thought you might disapprove, and that he's been saving up for this trip a long time. $38? Is that what?
It's expensive.
What's
expensive this week?
$46? Well, in the 70s, that's like $10,000.
Well, it's expensive. It's expensive this week because we have a supermodel, and this guy had to... And a rich lady.
And Reggie's on there. It can't be.
Yeah, it's very expensive this week. So is his assumption of her qualms that, I'm on the same vacation as my servant? like in terms of like
stooping
status.
and the lady who like you can't sit at the table because of that kind of thing.
It's like it makes my being on here look like I'm slumming it or something.
I think she just never even, the idea never even occurred to her. I think she was just surprised.
Yeah.
If
she should have had a
nothing else.
monocle fall out of her eye.
Oh, he should have had a monocle, like just
What
the whole time.
What was she going to do on that trip? She's
by herself. You know, she never like had a book in her hand.
Nothing.
She was there to. It was the view. She loved the view, Mike. She wanted to look at water. Oh, look at you know, look at the ripples.
People going on vacations by themselves is bizarre to me.
I had a roommate that went on vacation to like some tropical island by himself, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, what?
I mean, unless you're going to use the cruise as like, you know, a hookup spot.
I mean, it is a Love Boat, but at least you would think you would go with somebody,
right? Just in case it doesn't work out, or you know, just to have a ride, or like someone else.
If you're
there.
going single, you're sort of on a mission, like a la Suzanne Summers.
You need somebody to sign your consent forms.
Something. I need a you know, emergency contact, basically. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah,
but he does say he does apologize. He says he apologizes if he's embarrassed her in any way, and says that it's a big ship. He wishes her a good day and tells her not to talk to any strange men. And kind of
gets a laugh track on that one on the way out.
He's great though. He's just great. His
he is effortlessly charming. This is the most charming guy we've had in a while.
He doesn't even leave footprints when he walks. No. I mean, this guy is just great
and looks fantastic in that white tux.
That dinner jacket. The dinner jacket's fantastic. Yeah, there's a weird choice coming up later that I wrote some notes on. A weird shirt. You know, we got to focus on shirts. When the episode is this bad, I gotta.
Fashion, real fashion faux pas on this one.
Oh yeah. Gopher's at the poolside bar talking to Isaac. Isaac tells Gopher that you got to play it cool, and then spells the word "cool" for him,
like a pack of cigarettes.
Oh, yeah, K-O. Isaac offers Gopher a shot of cognac. Mike, a shot of cognac is...
It's like 10 in the morning, and he's working.
like, I've had some cognac with like a cigar or something like that, where you sip it a little bit.
Cognac is the definition of savoring, right?
But he said a shot. Like, and he was pouring and when he poured the milk, he poured it in like a snifter. So it's
later, he got the cognac glass out. Isaac only has the one glass. He's going to use it no matter what.
Snifters for everybody. Yeah, Gopher tells Isaac he's on duty, and Isaac offers him milk instead. Oh, boy. Here comes Reggie, and I wrote, he's clearly dressed as Reggie Jackson. There's no attempt here to disguise himself in any way.
He's more dressed like Reggie Jackson later.
That's funny. That's going to be my Halloween costume next year. It's just walking around with the sign. No one's going to get it. He asked Freight Train for one of his mean pina coladas.
Always with the pina coladas.
Always. I mean, look, I will say this. For me, that's my favorite vacation drink. So I guess
if you're going to be good at a boat drink as a bartender, that makes sense, right? Like, you don't want to be really good at like some really like old man drink. Like,
well, my only question is like, whenever I've been somewhere and gotten a pina colada, there's some sort of like, you hear something, meaning you hear a blender or a frozen machine kind of thing.
Right.
You don't hear anything. You don't see a blender. What is he doing? Pina coladas on the rocks? Like what?
I mean, I don't. That's how good they are.
Apparently.
You never see it.
Maybe he makes them before everyone gets on the ship, and they're just ready to go.
There is just behind the bar. They are just lined up like 100 bottles of beer on the wall,
ready to go. Not even covered. And there's no wind, so you're not going to spill a drop. Everything's fine.
That's true.
Yes. Freight Train for his pina coladas. Isaac introduces RJ to Gopher. Cleo walks by RJ, and he is clearly interested.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac says, "How about a cold drink?" And RJ says, "How about a cold shower?"
Ah, diggity. And those shorts Reggie's wearing leave nothing to the imagination.
Nothing. Good Lord.
Shorts,
Well, you
Reg.
love to bare your hamstrings, sir. Jeez, let those things breathe. It's funny to see those old, the John Stockton's, sort of the low-hanging fruit for short shorts. That was such a thing. It was such a weird... But then the flip side, remember the 90s when they wore the super long...
baggy ones. Yeah.
Ridiculously. Cheryl sits down at a table poolside, and as soon as she sits down, a waiter places a drink. And I'm thinking, is that amazing service? Or is that a way to like, oh, hello? That she
that
just
was
sat down.
That was a Pirates Cove level drink too. That was
maybe if you
that was
look
a big
like,
old that was a big old drink.
It was maybe if you're a model, maybe that's what happens. Like if
That
I
might
was
have had
a
a
model,
crazy
I'd be able
straw
to.
in it.
It might, like if I'm a supermodel or a cover model, can I go to
Never
like
too late.
Starbucks and they just bring me? I don't even have to walk to the counter; they just bring me drinks.
So do you think there's
beauty?
do you think there's like another it's like a webisode where that waiter is actually hitting on her too?
Oh, it's a whole thing, and he's had a crush on her even more so.
He's got a bigger. He's got a bigger poster, but it's the other side. It's her other eye.
Well, and he's got a bigger T-shirt. He's wearing a double XL.
Oh no!
So
he's got a hockey jersey.
He's got a hockey jersey. He looks like Kevin Smith. Isaac's motioning for Gopher to go join Cheryl at her table. Julie walks up and says to Gopher that he could be arrested for what he's thinking. I'm like, Julie, what? I don't think he's thinking that, Julie. I mean, wow. Julie says, looks like Cupid's arrow has pierced our purser's heart. Look at that alliteration, huh?
Assistant purser.
Damn it. Gopher says he'd marry Cheryl today. Isaac tells Gopher to go introduce himself and ask Cheryl to dinner. How about you ask her to dinner first?
Yeah. How about you talk to her?
Or walk in her orbit without tripping over luggage multiple times.
Or your tongue.
Or your weird giant Band-Aid thing on your arm or something. Ugh. And he's all milk drunk at this point, too. So God knows what he's going to do. Gopher walks up to Cheryl and tries to introduce himself. Stubing asked her to join his table before he has a chance to ask Cheryl to dinner. Like, damn, Stubing.
The classic cock block of Meryl Stubing.
This guy.
He has improved so much in season 2, the back half here, but man, he is just stepping in front of everyone.
Just the timing, just swooping in. Cheryl asked Gopher what he was going to ask her, and he asked her to sign his underwear. Yeah.
Like Julie says that at one point that like he has interacted with other people before, and it's okay to be starstruck or awestruck or have a crush and all that stuff, but like there's a level of, and because they never stop it, it's just like this guy is not like unhinged normally. He's just taken the character and thrown him in the garbage.
Well, and keep in mind too is this again, this is a 90-minute episode, and they started this build to Gopher's crazy 2 minutes in. We've already started. Like they built this thing so fast, and now it's this giant snowball out of control. It's just,
I mean, we've only had two dream sequences or 3 so far.
We've had 2 so far. I think we have 2 or 3 more.
Oh, I think we might have 5 more.
6 more. I added a few just to,
Oh, you got a couple of your own?
Yeah, just to make it fun. We're back from break and it's dinner time. And we see Sherman, entering the dining room. He joins Lucas and Millicent. Boy, what a bit of a D move. You know she doesn't want you there, but you're just like, screw her. I want what I want. And just so, And again,
he never doesn't do that. The whole episode,
right? But it's just there's no rhyme or reason. They're just like the writers of this. It's just terrible. Like you're just smashing things together. There's no logic. There's no.
Well, and it goes back to things we've said about other episodes, other storylines, especially this season. I feel like, but you never gave me any reason to like this guy. Forget that it's Buddy Stanfield and I couldn't get past that. But like the character of Sherman, you never gave me anything. like there wasn't even that scene where it's like, honey, remember the good times, or there was none of
Nothing.
that.
No, there was nothing. He was just a heel.
Yeah. And then even when he gets the opportunity later on, he flummoxes that. But he won, so I guess it doesn't matter.
But the whole thing is I feel like his actions as we go through this episode with Sherman, I just think he's so selfish. And I know what he's trying to do, like on the outside may appear like I'm doing it but I don't feel that his character was really doing that. I feel like he's
and
just
if anything,
ass.
And I know I said earlier that I thought maybe he was a good father, but also he might be a good father in order to help himself.
Right. So. Yeah. And the thing is too, is they didn't really say if there was an event. I mean, they say they grew apart, but I just wonder, was there an event that happened? Did Sherman do something? Did something significant happen other than just like the growing apart?
Like Juliet Mills at one point gives a pretty substantial amount of complaints about him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you're inflexible.
Like, she's like, I can stretch more. Like, no, I don't mean like that. Not like you're Mr. Burns.
I feel bad for Millicent. I think she's made a terrible, terrible mistake.
Oh yeah, Sherman's a train wreck, dude. Forget Lucas for a second. Sherman's just Millicent wants him to leave the table immediately. You can tell she's just not having it. What do you do in weird situations? Pull out a gift. So he pulls out a gift and he gives it to Lucas, and it's a penknife. Interesting. Add penknife to the list of items available at Project Merch Shop. Also, I'm shocked that somebody on that work release program would be allowed to work in a store that sold weapons.
You think Stephanie's still there?
Maybe it's one of those things. It's like we can either have Stephanie or we can have pen knives. And for this cruise, they decide to have pen knives. So
do you think that he bought it at the gift shop, or do you think he came with a bunch of gifts?
He just came with a bunch of pre-wrapped gifts. He's like, gifts talk. I'm Sherman. Pew, pew,
pew, here's a knife. If you happen to kill your mom.
When in doubt, let's just say, let's get back together. Oh, pew, 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 pew.
I've got one move, and it's the wrong move.
Just nothing. I say I'm going to leave, but I never leave. I'm back. I'm Sherman.
I'm the slowest packer on the boat.
I'm Mr. Don't Get It. He just does not get it.
I really hate that guy.
It's just Sherman and Millicent argue over the penknife and Lucas's super fancy jacket. Millicent's had enough, and she and Lucas leave for the Starlight Grill.
Sure.
I don't even know what that is, but okay. Maybe like you get a patty melt. Something nice.
It's a ground round.
That Ponderosa.
It's the aqua ground round.
It's just bad. It's bad. Yeah, it looks like Miami Vice, but it's ground round or like black Angus food. Yeah.
You can get ice cream in a baseball helmet, but the baseball helmet is just like one of those old deep sea diver helmets.
And it is metal. It is metal, and it weighs a lot.
Yeah, do not drop it on your foot.
Don't drop the brass ice cream bowl. Lord, put a hole in the ship.
Also, you can't eat the ice cream.
Don't eat the no. That's not.
It's old.
So it's not. No. Don't do that. That whole ice cream machine is really just load bearing. So just don't. Step back. Estelle Castlewood enters the dining room.
Hello.
Doc shows her to her seat at the captain's table next to Bertram. Didn't he just say that this was a big boat?
Yeah, but it's not a big table.
A small table. And again, girl, boy. So it's working. Estelle seems super awkward. Bertram acts like he's meeting her for the first time. Tells her he's always loved that name. Estelle's asking him what he's doing there. Bertram says he's certainly not crashing the dinner. Why would you say I'm certainly not crashing the dinner?
She said that she was invited by the captain, and he indicated that he had also, because as you know, Steubing's got Bertram goggles. So
he loves this guy.
Yeah.
Tell me about your market experience. Yeah.
Did you catch the bit right when this scene wraps?
Yeah, with the napkin?
Where there's that, which feels like something he does in his actual job, and he just forgot where he was. But then she's like, "So I hear you're from Cleveland," to some person.
That's funny.
like off screen. It was just such a
That's
weird
funny. Just
thing.
making conversation with
Yeah.
Rando at the captain's
Right.
table.
Like I'm trying to think who was it, Ozzie Newsome? Like
That's funny. That's funny. We see Cheryl. Uh-oh. You know what that means. We see Cheryl. I smell another dream sequence coming. She's entering the dining room, and Gopher sees her immediately. Gopher asks Julie to ask Cheryl to have dinner with Gopher instead of Steubing. Gopher asks Julie to put in a good word for him and to tell Cheryl that Gopher is sexy. And Julie just laughs. This is ridiculous. Yep. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Dream sequence time, number 3. This time it's Gopher in an all-white tuxedo with weirdly slicked back hair. For some reason, Julie shows up and she has a pistol.
Yeah, Julie is Annie Oakley, apparently.
What's going on? She says, he's mine, all mine. Tells Julie that what they had was a fling and it's over now. Julie begs Gopher to take her back or she'll do herself in.
Which is the 4th or 5th veiled suicide reference by
over
Julie.
The rail, like, yeah. It all goes back to that sort of that Luke Skywalker reaction that, was the name. It's the same thing. She just turns and runs.
This is a dream sequence, so I'll let it go a little bit, but yeah, that was unnecessary.
Yeah. Julie's being dragged by Gopher as she is pleading with him to take her back.
Felt like an homage to when Red Buttons was dragging on her foot.
When she's the object of abuse. It's just awful. Even in a dream sequence. Back to reality, Cheryl's asking Gopher where the captain's table is. And now Gopher's doing this weird leg drag thing left over from the dream sequence.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Violins and an amazing looking dessert buffet by the pool. Mike, there's no wind at all. There's not a ripple. There are candles floating in the pool on a cruise ship.
Which, by the way, ocean. Not popular in Russian cruises, as we know. So
No, absolutely not. It's just so odd. Cheryl's now dancing with her dad. And I wrote, Bertram. Her dad in real life. The dance is over, and Cheryl tells Steubing that he really knows how to run a fun ship. Thanks, Cheryl, for your...
He has choice brothers. We know that.
Yeah, that's... And Cheryl, thanks you for your meaningful insight.
Is this like the first episode we've had maybe all season where there was dancing and there was no disco dancing the whole episode?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, no, it was all this. It was
like nice regular people dancing. It was timeless dancing.
My fingers were crossed for many more extended dance scenes. I was like, all right, let's just coast through the rest of this sucker. No. Nope. Steubing excuses himself, and it's now Cheryl, Bertram, and Estelle Castlewood all standing together, but nobody's saying anything. They're just standing there. Cheryl says, as they say, three's a crowd, says goodbye and leaves.
Plus, this is my dad, so I'm not trying to hook up.
Plus, this is my dad. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And he's probably told me this whole thing about how he's had a thing. Come on now. Estelle is taken with Bertram's dancing ability. Bertram says, my only expertise is behind a steering wheel. Estelle asks Bertram to pretend like she's the Rolls Royce and steer her around the dance floor for a while.
Drive me like a car.
Yeah. Drive me. Guide me like a Subaru, Bertram. Bertram asks if this is an order, and Estelle shakes her head yes. And they begin to dance together.
This will not be the most egregious order she puts in tonight.
No. Yeah, nobody's talking about that. But, okay. Cheryl's getting a cup of coffee, and she sits down by the pool. Isaac tells Gopher that this is his chance. He's like, look, here's a couple drinks. Bring them over. Gopher has zero confidence. Doc says, here's what you do. You walk over and you say, hello, fair beauty. Here's your rum.
Hello, fair beauty. Here's your rum.
I will say great for Gopher for making the walk over. He says, hello, fair Rudy. Here's your bum. He just completely, and he makes a hasty retreat after flubbing the line.
But if he would have hung around 3 more seconds every turn, she's very interested in him. But they just don't flesh it out where,
because he runs. He's like turtling, and he just starts hiding. So weird.
I think you're onto something. I think this is long-term concussion damage. This is like CTE from the tree. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
I mean, he was hit by a tree.
And he was treated by Barbie Benton for the most part.
Yeah.
So
she just wiped sweat off his forehead? Because,
well, to be fair, she was busy. She was busy putting the rocks out so they could be rescued.
Right.
So.
That's right. And checking the ammunition in the weapon.
Oh, you mean the sand?
Yeah, the sand.
I am not looking forward to going back and having to listen to that for the stubbies, actually.
I got a lot of work to do. Unfortunately. Yeah. RJ and Cleo are walking together. She says what a great evening she had with RJ. Here comes the baseball-related comments. We knew it was coming.
So heavy-handed.
Getting a third base, home run. Cleo says, home run? Who do you think you are, Reggie Jackson? I stood up for this one. I was like, all right. She's great, man.
No, she really is.
Great timing.
She
great
has
delivery.
Never not been good in anything.
Everything.
And the thing is, she is, I don't know if they're still active, maybe not, but I mean, she's Tony Orlando and Dawn. She's one of them.
That's right.
And so, it's not like this is pre-bosom buddies.
Yeah.
So, great character. I fell down a Give Me a Break rabbit hole maybe 6 months ago and watched a couple episodes because I hadn't seen that thing.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
And her and Nell are just going at it. I think the chief had just died.
She's great at being like the neighbor.
Or the best friend.
Yeah, the best friend.
Yeah.
Like she's just she's
I would
the Ethel to a Lucy. She's perfect for that.
I would hope that if she's on 3 more times, that's when she's got a little more cachet and can get a little bigger part, because she is she's really good in nothing in this thing. So
again, I would love to see if we could for a season, if we could pick an all-star list of guest stars that we'd want to see, like fantasy book, the first 3 seasons of nothing but all-stars.
Well, I agree. And a version of that are people that were on but didn't get enough to do.
Yeah.
And that's definitely where she falls. Jim Backus is another one.
Yeah, I agree. I thought she had so much more. There was nothing. This storyline that is just...
Which, again, you have 4 storylines in 90 minutes, and you had 3 scenes with her, and one of them is on the way out the door.
We're back to Millicent. She's putting Lucas to bed. It's Lucas's birthday tomorrow. All right, Lucas. Sherman walks in the cabin, just walks right in.
Oh,
this guy. This guy is just zero respect or anything.
She should have shot him.
She would have been
exactly
international waters too. That's shady at best out there. No, and not even knock open, which is still not appropriate, but at least it's something.
Yeah, what if Millicent had a gentleman in there?
I mean, Sherman wants to take him skeet shooting tomorrow. Oh, we're back. That's good for an 8-year-old boy. That's great.
Isn't that what Billy Davis was doing?
How old was he, though?
The kid, Todd Bridges?
Yeah. He was older than 8.
Was he?
Let me just say this.
10?
I know I'm real tight with a 7-year-old, right? There's 0 chance that would happen. So that is mind-blowing.
Well, I almost have a 1-year-old, so I think we're in prime skeeting.
Yeah, prime skeet. Oh, he's old enough to hold the... No. Millicent wants to take him swimming instead, and Lucas says, can I do both? And Sherman just blurts out, sure you can. And then he and Millicent will work it out. Again, this guy is such a heel.
This guy's awful. He really is. He is the pure definition of the worst.
I wrote Millicent's had enough, and I've had enough with writing the name Millicent. She rips into Sherman, accuses him of sabotaging her cruise with Lucas, which he totally is. Lucas hears all this. He hears his parents arguing about splitting the next day with Lucas. They say they've been arguing about Lucas since the day he was born, and Lucas is crying now. So he overheard all this.
Oh, he is crying. He is crying big boy tears. That
He's
is
good.
some acting right there.
He's acting like big old fat tears. Good for you.
Yeah.
Right
to break, right? Cry to break.
Cry into break, and you get the violins going. Come on, that's good. We are back from break. At this point, I'm almost winded. At this point, I started drinking lots of Gatorade because I was really starting to run out of steam.
Wait till I start singing that song.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Estelle and Bertram. Oh, no. I know exactly what you're saying now. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, that's something to look forward to.
I've been holding it. I've been holding it in.
Estelle and Bertram are on deck laughing and drinking champagne together. She loved the dancing. She tells him that he's charming. She's just laying it out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I wrote it. Estelle looks like she wants to engage in some smooch. Bertram tells her it's getting late and he should walk her back to the cabin. This gentleman right there. Julie's with Cheryl and they're talking about how men love Cheryl. She asks Cheryl why she's still single. Oh boy. And we see Gopher approaching. That could only mean one thing, Mike. Here we go again. This one's really bad. So now Gopher's wearing a suit of armor with the letter G on his tiny shield. Julie and Cheryl are dressed as maidens, and they're saying how brave Gopher is. Gopher says, "It is I, Sir Gophalot." Sir Gophalot. Okay, Gopher. This is just terrible now. It's just terrible. He's got the wooden horse and he's galloping. He gallops down the stairs.
This is also the scene where Haley Mills says that if Gopherlot gets her out of this place, she'll buff him every morning.
He rejoins the real world. He gallops down the stairs right by Cheryl and Julie, not saying a word to either one.
Great reaction by Julie because she doesn't say anything. She just looks kind of like, I think she looks in the way that like connotates I don't know what's going on here, but not overreacting.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to say, as a show that has brought up a lot of Julie's like poor fashion and all that stuff, I think she looks very, very nice.
Her hair looks good. Her hair
looks good. She's wearing kind of normal clothing.
Yeah.
No, I think she looks really good. I don't know how far into the 80s we make it like this, but Julie is a good look. Good look for Julie.
You know, I kept thinking, watching this episode, I'm like, God, what would have saved this episode? And I went, Vicky, in my mind.
Where though? Just in general?
I'm throwing pasta at the wall to see if it sticks. I just anything to. Come on, Vicky.
I mean, we're getting there, right?
We are.
Got midway through next season, so.
Oh, come on, Joe Whelan. We need you.
Yeah, your only hope.
Your only hope. Bertram's walking Estelle back to her cabin. She invites him in for a nightcap, but he politely declines. And then she orders him to join her in the cabin. And I'm like, was that assault? Like, I don't know. What is that? It's borderline?
It's sexual harassment. I guess it's maybe quid pro quo. Yeah, it's entrapment.
It's entrapment.
It's not subtle. That's what it is.
No. Bertram responds by saying, there are things that you can't order.
Yep.
Good night.
That's right.
Classy.
Like Chick-fil-A on Sunday.
Nope. Good luck. Good. You can wait there all day. No chicken for you.
Nope.
We now see RJ with a Yankees cap on doing jumping jacks on deck.
The classic exercise pavilion of the of the princess.
If he's up there early, he can get that ballet in with,
Yep. Or if
uncoordinated stubing.
If he had worn some more clothes, he could have worked out with Ray Bolger.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. He's trying to get anybody to recognize him at this point because of what happened with Cleo.
He's working out at people.
Yeah. Just in their face. He sees Cleo and asks if he can talk to her. He tells her that he's Reggie Jackson, and Cleo says, "Yeah, well, I'm Diana Ross."
And then we get a whiz hit on the way out.
It was good. It was good.
Love the whiz.
Millicent's in her cabin reading a book. This time there's a knock at the door.
Oh, you've changed. You've changed.
Yeah, I barely know you, Sherman. He asks if Lucas is awake and comes in the cabin to wake him up.
Oh, this is great.
Lucas is gone, and the first thing I think is Lucas sleeping next to Paul Williams by the pool? Like, that's number one, because they're about the same height.
So they have this like curtained off bedroom for a tiny child.
Crap. That's total crap way to do it too.
So Stanfield's like, I want to say good morning to my son, and then it's they open up the curtain, and he's gone.
But isn't there only one door?
They both say is, it's his birthday. Shit, he ran away. Go find that kid.
But do you think there was a door on the other side of the curtain where he was sleeping, or was there just? To me, there's only one door, one entrance.
Yeah, there's only one door. Yeah,
so how does he?
That's basically a day bed with a curtain.
What 7-year-old is gonna lay in wait till 3-4 o'clock in the morning, completely silent, and then?
Oh, Millicent's taken some heavy narcotics before she goes to bed.
Apparently, if she's not going, we need to call someone now to find our son.
They were
just like, oh, he's gone.
Like, if I was traveling, and my son the first day was sleeping in a strange bed, and I had him covered by curtains, I'd probably check in just to make sure he's in there.
Maybe once. Yeah. Not these guys. Be like, is he sleeping all right? I think so.
I guess.
I think so. Well, all you got to do is no. Don't. That's the 70s. We don't need to look. We're good.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
I left a cigarette there.
Yeah. Yeah. Estelle's walking towards the pool area, and we see Bertram enjoying some coffee. Here's the shirt thing. She reluctantly joins Bertram. Now, I don't know if you noticed this. He had like a pink button-down shirt on with the sleeves rolled up, like the collar. But instead, he had it unbuttoned, and the collar was sticking straight up. It looked ridiculous. Which could have been an accident.
You're not a sir. He's a sir.
Oh, so. You know what?
Maybe that's a sir shirt.
I take it back. I don't know what I'm. Yeah, that's not. No. I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm not in the right cast to make that sort of comment.
You just wouldn't. How would you know, right?
How would I know?
You can buy sir. You can buy sir approved clothing in the merch store.
Yeah, the merch store too. The collar doesn't lay down. That's the thing.
Oh wait, the Perch merch store.
The Perch merch store. I like it. You can have a whole Bertram line, like of clothing and combs,
little mustache.
Yeah,
little hat,
Brill cream. Estelle regrets your behavior last night. Bertram blames himself, tells her that he resigns from his position, and they should never see each other again. Bam. Goodbye.
Yeah, that was a lot. So at that point, I mean, I guess you can know how it's going to end, right? But at that point, you could think, oh, he was very offended by this woman, and he's decided to find employ elsewhere.
When this happened, I was like, okay, well, we just got rid of one story. We've wrapped that up in a nice little package. What's next?
That's it. I quit.
No dream sequence, just a real simple I'm sure that storyline's over. There's nothing that's going to happen. That's
nice
done.
to meet you, John Mills. Sir John Mills. Yeah.
Goodbye. Lucas is poolside. I don't see Paul Williams. That doesn't mean he wasn't sleeping next to him. I just feel like Paul Williams is on every cruise and he's always sleeping outside.
Well, he's easy to miss.
He's my favorite.
Like if they couldn't find him in that little bed cove.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Isaac gets him a glass of orange juice. By the way, Lucas drinking orange juice, I wanted to strangle this kid because he would just let the orange juice like touch his lips and put the glass down. And then I was thinking, is that how people drink orange juice? Like,
he was doing a lot of orange juice acting, especially in the Reggie scenes. Like,
are you allergic to it? Drink it. What are you doing? That's why he got Kernsed. He wouldn't drink the OJ.
It's this because he's not used to having orange juice without tears in it.
I like my orange juice to be just a little salty, a little briny.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard, but I ruined my parents' marriage.
I didn't run away. I soaked my bed with tears. I couldn't sleep in there. It was wet.
I flew out of there like a slip and slide.
I need some sort of chamois system. I don't know what I'm going to do. Here comes RJ, and he wants everyone to know who he is again. Walks up to Lucas with Isaac. Isaac introduces Reggie to Lucas.
This is where Reggie's appearance kind of took a tumble.
Yeah. Lucas said, "Oh, I thought I recognized you." But then Reggie said, "Oh, you must be a Pete Rose fan."
Yep.
By the way, Pete Rose is never appearing on the Love Boat. There's no way.
No, he would be terrible at it. Although Pete Rose in this timeline just signed with the Phillies.
He would have. Yeah, he would have been.
But yeah, I can't imagine. You can't imagine Pete Rose being a great act. He would have been a good Mike Kelly.
He would have been a great Mike Kelly.
Yeah, actually, right.
Bowl haircut and everything. Just.
What if Tom Seaver would end up on the boat?
I could see that. The crossover.
Yeah. I do think Garvey might be our guy. Not that he deserves it from like being in the best baseball player.
You know what I mean? He was like.
Yeah.
Let's see. Reggie tells Lucas that he struck out 5 times in a row and didn't want to tell anybody about it. Reggie urges Lucas to talk about what's going on. He says his parents argue all the time because of him. Says his parents don't care. And Reggie's just determined to use baseball to explain that Lucas needs to talk to his parents. You know, if you check swing and the ball comes up, that's when you go to first. And if the throw misses, you go ahead and like, Reggie, you have to know something in life other than baseball. Right. Like, come on, dude.
And then the other, what was the one where whatever he said, you got to tell, you can't get your signals if you don't give you signs or some nonsense. And Isaac's like, yeah, what he means, or in other words, like Isaac actually explained it for the people who couldn't decode that message.
He's like, you got to take so many heaters before you swing at a curveball, right? And he's like, what he's trying to say is, oh boy, yeah,
you got to put a third infielder up into the right field when you have a strong left-handed hitter. What?
Why didn't Isaac go? I know what he's trying to say. Hey, Reggie, can you talk in normal terms? Can you? Life is not baseball, sir. Can you just?
It gets worse. It gets worse when the parents come down because then he's like, "Hey, man, the game's over here." Or what the hell does that mean?
Just anything. The oversized cap, like it's just.
It was too much.
Way too much.
They did a really good job of not going heavy on it early. Even
they could have. It could have.
Even
been way
the Cleo scene where she shoots him down. At least there's kind of context there, right?
Well, she didn't smack him like it could have been. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, this was terrible. This was like a Matt Christopher novel at the end or something. This is
really bad. So Lucas walks up to his parents.
Hey,
they don't even ask him why he disappeared. They're just like, "Here, we have presents for you," and I'm like.
Oh, is that message is this? Is it our child talking to the bartender and a stranger? Great.
Is that RJ from Oakland? Who is that? Lucas says he doesn't want any presents. He wants to talk instead, which no 8-year-old's ever said in the history of 8-year-olds.
Why not both, kid?
He apologizes. I'd be like, well, let's see what the gifts are. He apologizes and says it's his fault they argue, and it's his fault they broke up. Here we go, Mike.
No,
Millicent
son, your
explains.
father's an asshole.
Sherman just blurts out, "Your mother and I are getting back together."
Which I don't know a lot about, like child psychology or divorce.
It can't be
but
good, dude. It
could
can't be
not
good.
be a worse thing to tell a child. Could not be a worse thing. They always say, like, don't give kids false hope and stuff like that. And this guy went to it immediately, and then his defense was, "Oh, he was sad." Well, you know, I mean, come on, dude, you're an adult.
Well, he's just like, "Come on, Millicent, get with it." Just
Anyway,
what?
two birds.
Yeah, I show up everywhere. I don't knock anyway. What's the difference? Come on. Oh,
this Sherman's march through your life. So
unbelievable. But again, Lucas is super happy about this. Sherman said it just popped out of his mouth. Then tells Millicent that he came on the cruise to try to get back together with Millicent. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Absolutely. He just, he is not, there's nothing in his behavior during his time on the ship that would lead you to believe that that's what he was doing based on the interactions with Millicent. He didn't knock. He was just like rude. He was just
right.
assuming.
But I think you're looking at it in the context of trying to win her back. I think he is trying to have her back because
without
nobody
really doing any work, basically.
Nobody walks out on Buddy Stanfield. That's kind of where he's at. That's
a good point. He's like, flowers. What do I buy her flowers for?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're looking at this from like an empathetic human being.
I am.
Not a psychopath.
That's on me. On me. Sherman's his pen name. We know who this really is.
Exactly.
Millicent says that Sherman came on this cruise uninvited, and she thinks it's best if he leaves when they arrive in Acapulco. He should fly home from there.
Man, people just love flying out of these ports on short notice. This pre 9/11 world where you can just hop anywhere on a plane. Here's $8 in cash. Can I have a ticket, please?
No kidding. Where are you going to go? London. Whatever. Where do we go? Sherman asks who's going to tell Lucas. Millicent says, "I will. I'm used to doing your dirty work."
Right.
So
she lays him out.
Dumb,
not in a hysterical way.
Out of town. You
not
are
in a hysterical
crazy.
way. Not in a I've been bottling this up. This felt very like matter of fact.
Well, this felt very. She was coming at this from the point of view of a mother.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like this whole, "I'll clean your mess up. Why would you do this?" Blah 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 blah. And it all seemed perfectly logical from her point of view, which is why it's so crazy what happens.
Exactly. Because it almost felt like, and I don't know if good cop, bad cop was a phrase that was used commonly in the late 70s, but like if they had said that, basically, I always have to be the bad cop and you come in and be the good cop and all that kind of stuff. Like that's basically what they were saying. And you're right, because except for the next conversation where they kind of do the same dance,
right?
There's nothing that changed from her very legitimate problems with this guy and the 12 hours later. So...
Well, and to your point, too, I mean, she was already here with him.
Yeah.
And then saying we're going to get back together just was like, just go. Yeah. She's telling him, leave. I don't want you here. Leave. Goodbye, goodbye. I'll handle it. Like,
It's like those people when you're younger and everybody's drama and they're like, that's it. We're breaking up. Like when you have that in your mind already, you're done. Yeah. So it's like, she doesn't want to get back now. It's not cooler heads have prevailed later.
No. It's not like, well, she's come to her senses.
Right.
It's the coming to the senses was leave.
Everything you said in this scene and nothing you said in the following scenes. Yeah.
Oof. And we go to break just to drive that dramatic point home. We're back. Oh boy. We see Cheryl, Doc, and Steubing poolside, and they're cheersing each other. Gopher walks up to the table and says hi. Cheryl asks Gopher to have a seat, and Gopher sits on Steubing's lap. Gopher jumps up and apologizes. He continues to apologize as he backs away from the table, and he trips over a lounge chair onto a passenger. This guy is a danger to himself and others. More others. Steubing asked Doc, what's wrong with Gopher? This is when I don't like it, because the three of them are at the table, and I felt like they were talking kind of
openly
out of school about their person that they have like a relationship with, meaning Gopher.
Yeah, but I think they were trying to help. It was weird. If anything, it was weird for Cheryl because, they're basically making his moves for him on her. So
I think I don't disagree. I think the thing that got me was the phrasing, give him a break and have dinner with him. That's where I was like, don't.
Yeah, give him a break is a weird way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheryl said she'd love to, but he hasn't asked her. Doc tells Cheryl that she'll have to ask him. Okay. Here we go again, another dream sequence.
Yeah, now we're getting to the real wild ones.
This is Steubing. It's the best way to describe. Steubing's now a dark-haired Asian villain with a stuffed cat.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Doc is dressed like LeBeau from Hogan's Heroes when they were doing some sort of night mission.
Doc, no glasses. Very different looking guy.
Had a little stubble too.
Yeah.
He looked like he could have been Stalag 13. That was cool.
Yeah.
Here comes Gopher in a scuba suit from out of the pool, but he has like a cigarette in his mouth when he's getting out of the pool. Cheryl refers to him as 00 Gopher. Ooh. Gopher gets out of the scuba gear. He's now fully dry and in a tuxedo. He throws down the flower attached to his tux, and it's really a poison gas bomb. I hadn't.
Yep.
No. 00 Gopher and Cheryl smooch.
Doc's Gopher's like, oh no, the poison gas bomb pink carnation. It works every time.
Every time. Oh, that thing again. How many times can that thing fool us? Oh.
So this one, maybe a couple of the other ones, had the energy of the dream sequences in A Christmas Story.
Good call. Absolutely.
It was a little sped up, and it was obviously zany.
Yeah.
And it was the first thing I thought of, just in terms of, it was very silly, obviously.
I didn't think about that, but that I think you nailed it. I really do, because it's that same vein. Yeah,
and really not all of them, and probably no more going forward, because the rest of them were more like homages. But it was definitely something we've not seen before, and this is now the 5th dream sequence. And
after one,
it's too many.
Stop counting. It's too many,
and there's at least two more. There's at least two more. So
one was too many. This is
it's way too many.
It's too much. Gopher's back in the real world. Cheryl's asking him why he won't have dinner with her. Gopher definitely wants to have dinner with Cheryl, and he goes to get changed.
Yep.
All right, good.
Yeah. So he had to be kind of led to it. But
here we go. It's your big moment, sir.
Mm-hmm.
We see Reggie in a tuxedo walking down the hall. Here we get that other thing. He sees Steubing and says hi. Steubing says, I know who you are. Reggie smiles a little bit. He says, you're RJ from Oakland, Isaac's friend. And Reggie says, I'm Reggie Jackson. And Steubing's like, nah, you're not. No, you're not. A little comic relief there. I didn't mind that.
Isn't Merrill a big baseball fan?
I thought so.
You think he'd recognize Reggie Jackson?
His TV doesn't work. Clearly, that thing, what's he going to do?
And I guess he didn't go to any ball games with the orphans this year.
Or
he's just going to Dodger games, not Angel games.
No, he would buy like one fewer tickets than he needs, like, because he can't count.
Sorry, Tony. Go sit in the car.
Yeah. Actually, don't sit in the car. Just kind of do laps around the outside of the stadium for a few hours. Yeah. Gopher's on the phone with Chef Armand. Asks for the chef's help to impress Cheryl. Gopher decides on champagne and caviar and a couple bags of potato chips.
Yeah. Once again, highlighting that because he asks what the special is. It's beef Wellington.
Yeah.
But that's too pricey. As we continue to establish that Gopher is broke as hell. So
yeah, you would.
He's always, of all these people, he's the only one who's ever like money conscious.
Because he gets like $2 a week.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know what kind of money system.
Yeah.
Bertram, here comes our first of many looking over the ocean scenes. His daughter, Millicent, his real life daughter, walks up to him and asks if she can share the view. Mike, I got a little uncomfortable at this point because I was like, oh boy. There's something here where she talks about her father, who's right there. This was so weird. Like
this almost felt like
it was.
That's actually what he used to tell her,
like
right?
An Easter egg, yeah,
yeah.
Telling her to wish upon the first star you see. And I said, this is father and daughter. They both make a wish. It goes on for a while. There's a time wasting scene here. They're just looking at her face. And then we sharp cut. It's dinner time in the Coral dining room. Yes, this episode continues. Gopher's laying out his dinner strategy with Cheryl to Doc. Out of nowhere, Isaac just starts playing the piano.
He's playing a lot of keys with one hand for a second.
Yeah,
this was some pretty bad fake pianoing, especially early.
If I never see you make a drink, I'm not going to buy the fact that you play piano. Like it's hand in hand.
And then when Cheryl walks in, this dining room is empty. First of all,
there's nobody there.
But then he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to dedicate this song."
Oh, yeah. He says, dedicates this song to Cheryl as she's walking in the dining room. Starts singing a song about dream girls and getting them into his
dream girls. Gotta get you.
Oh, look, it's time for another dream sequence, Mike. Look at us.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but Cheryl is very impressed by people who have musical abilities. That's something she can really get into.
I mean, sure. Who wouldn't? Mike, this is the worst thing that I've seen in the 2 seasons. Mike, when we first started this podcast, never in a million years did I think that we would see Gopher dressed as a rock star, audience chanting Gopher.
A lot of extras for this scene too. A
lot. Puts on giant oversized glasses that say Gopher and lights, and the tallest platform shoes. Cheryl's in the crowd, and Steubing, Doc, Julie, and Isaac are all dressed up as 70s. Dude, this is not cool at all. This is
Isaac's got like a giant cowboy hat on. Doc's got like long hair. Steubing is dressed like a captain, but almost more like a Captain and Tennille captain, right?
With a hat on. Yeah.
And then Julie's got like a long black wig on. And it's a lot.
It's so bad.
The song's great though.
The song's great. Come on. I love music.
Gotta get you.
Not a very
gotta get you.
Not a lot of lyrics in that song.
You just gotta get a hook.
You just
listen.
Roll with it.
I'm telling you right now, I haven't thought about it yet, but I am getting this performance into the stubbies. Like, there's no question.
If I can somehow get this as my ringtone, that would be fantastic.
It's very catchy.
It's very catchy. Gopher comes back to reality. Gopher asks Doc to tell her that dinner is off because he feels like this is a mercy date.
Now, would it have been more interesting because he asks where Cheryl is and she's over talking to Isaac,
right?
In a very funny scene where he starts to, she says, "Play it again, Sam," and Isaac's like, "I saw that movie." Like he says it really like a dumb guy.
Yeah.
Would it have been interesting if Gopher? They wouldn't do this in the 70s, I guess, but if Gopher was worried that Isaac was going to steal Cheryl.
I just feel like Isaac's such a good friend to Gopher that.
Yeah, but I'm not saying would have, but like Gopher would have, misinterpreted it.
Yeah. Mm. I mean, I hopefully not, but I see what you're saying. If someone's this if their confidence,
I'm just looking for like
low,
actuality in this storyline,
just something to
in the non-dream sequence things.
Yeah, well, the other thing is Gopher probably panicked because the picture's still up on his wall.
I just got to go back and rip that down.
Yeah. Like, what do you? He doesn't want to rip it. Doesn't want to damage it. I don't want to I taped
gotta
it.
get you. Dream girl.
It's gonna get in there. Gopher has to. Oh, okay. Estelle's on deck, looking sadly at another couple smooching, which just makes her even more sad.
She's like 4 feet from them.
She's so funny.
They shoot her, then they switch to the couple, but then the couple leaves and they don't walk that far.
No, they're like closer. We need you to get closer. And she's like, I'm an Academy Award. Closer? Okay. Yeah, it was weird.
Whatever.
She's just so sad. Sherman's packing his bags to leave for Acapulco. Enter Millicent. She apologized for what she said earlier. She shouldn't have apologized. Boo. Sherman said he meant what he said earlier, that he'd like for them to try again. They both agree to make some changes until they immediately start arguing again. And we're back to...
He went to, we both need to make some changes so fast. He was basically trying to both sides this thing. Like,
I think Millicent needs to take a class at Stick to Your Guns University here, because this is
or bring a gun
or something. Like, change your name. Like, just move.
But just to kind of reiterate, they argue about their arguing.
Right.
She walks out after basically choosing to throw the olive branch, I guess, for the good of the kid.
I guess.
He puts his foot in his mouth. Bear in mind, this is the last scene we see before they get back together.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this is going to lead to them getting back together. You can see that the road is paved clearly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We go to break. I wrote another break. But then I was like, well, the sooner I get to a break, the sooner we're going to get to the end of this odyssey.
That's true.
Reggie Jackson's on deck. And now he's trying to convince himself that he's Reggie Jackson. He's screaming, I am Reggie Jackson. Steubing walks up and says, too bad you don't look like the real Reggie Jackson, because you'd be the most popular guy on this ship. Wah, wah, wah.
Steubing almost playing the Gopher role this week.
Steubing enters the dining area and Bertram sees him. He asks Steubing if he's seen Mrs. Castlewood. She called Steubing and said she won't be joining. She lost her appetite. I thought she already... Wait a minute. How many times do you get to dine at the captain's table?
Well, apparently every night. That's why it must have been why she called Steubing. It must have been a light...
Like, why... Bertram gets up and leaves the dining room. Okay.
Also, like, why does the captain know the eating schedule of every passenger?
Yeah. Oh, Millicent won't be joining us. Come on. Yeah, he knows... You wouldn't. In fact, I remember working at a company, right? And this is in the same vein where before this, the CEO would join a meeting. He would come to me and go, look, Mike, I need talking points, right? There's no way he would know all these things to just rattle off, much like this, like Steubing's, passenger, blah, blah, blah. Stop it.
You think he just makes it up?
Yep. 100%.
Just he does 100%. It quick though, so
nobody. I feel like as long as he delivers it with confidence, nobody really
exactly.
Knows.
It's not a lie if you think it's true.
And he's a captain. You're not going to go. Oh, most sea captains lie through their teeth. Yeah. You're not going to think that.
It'd be great if he's like, who?
Yeah, huh? I don't know what I'm talking about. How would I know? I don't even know your name. You know. He's just walking around just saying like Steubing, just so everyone knows his name. Ugh. Millicent and Lucas are at the table together. Lucas is asking for his dad. Oh boy, here we go, dude. Doc and Isaac bring a very heavy birthday present. Lucas wants to wait to open it until his dad arrives, which is something never said by an 8-year-old when you hand them a present. Lucas says that he should call his dad. Millicent starts to tell Lucas that she and Sherman aren't getting back together. Boom, and Sherman's here. He's like cable guy. He's always there. Oh, I'm right here.
Was he just
Somebody say
waiting?
Sherman?
Was he just waiting in the lobby for this opening?
It's like a Beetlejuice thing. If I hear my name 3 times, poof. They all have dinner together, and Sherman tells Millicent that he loves her. And I wrote, what? How? What just
Why?
happened? Is it all just bullshit? Like, I don't. It doesn't
Well,
make
like I
any
said,
sense.
I think he's decided they're getting back together. Now, the thing is, I didn't even think about this, but like he, not only they have that argument and everything, then he straight up disregards what she requested.
100%.
Like the only way this actually works out in life is that you have this conversation in a few weeks on shore, you know, after you have had some time to cool off, right? No, he gaslit her.
Well, that, and they're in such a controlled environment. Like, nothing about this world they're in on a cruise ship represents the real world itself. So to me, it's really easy to throw this out there in, within the context of a cruise versus
you know what this also
going
is?
home. Yeah.
If you ever dated a waitress or a bartender or something like that, and then it didn't work out.
Yeah.
The asshole move is that you then go in when they're working.
Yeah.
Because they have to be there.
Yeah.
They can't leave. It's not their fault. You have made a decision to put yourself in that spot.
Well,
that's what happened here.
You force the awkwardness.
Yeah, exactly. He is, unless she literally locks the cabin door and never goes out, she is susceptible to this guy on the boat.
Well, he has zero respect for her.
Or boundaries.
And I say that just from the showing up, just from the walking in the cabin. Mm-hmm. She's telling him to leave. He doesn't want to leave. So she does, it's all these things just show.
Yeah.
Like,
these are not the qualities of someone I want to renew my vows with.
Like, he wants to get back with her so his son will be happy.
He wants to get back with her because he's probably staying in some garbage apartment and she got the house.
That's probably true. It's probably true.
Yeah. Guy sucks. I actually was getting really mad at the guy by the second rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the and you know what? We've talked about this with other characters. Captain Dave is the one I always bring up where it's like I hated Captain Dave, but I was supposed to. And that was good acting.
Yeah. No,
that was like that guy did a great job of making me hate that character. I just don't like this character. Like, this is not good acting.
No.
This is not good storytelling.
No. They didn't do him any favors here, which is something we say all the time with the writing. Like,
there about Baron Jolson, we didn't used to.
Unbelievable, guys. Come on.
Little sophomore slump here.
Ooh, at least. Estelle is still on deck looking sad. This time she's not staring at people kissing.
Jump.
Yeah, no, kids, not that far. We seen someone survive earlier, John Ritter made it. Here comes Bertram. She asks him to leave her alone. Bertram tells her that he's afraid that they behaved foolishly the night before. He said it would be a difficult employer-employee relationship. He then says if they didn't have that relationship, I said, what if they didn't have it? He says that he loves her very much and has for almost 20 years. Has seen her through 2 atrocious marriages. Estelle says that she loves him too, and she always has. What? Tells him to shut up and kiss her. Smooch. And here's the classy move. He's like, he then asked her to follow me to my cabin.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's gonna drive her home.
Yeah,
all right.
He's gonna drive that Rolls Royce all over town. And they smooch again. Very dramatic going into break.
Would it have been more interesting if he hadn't tendered the resignation earlier and he did it now to eliminate the employee-employer thing?
I see what you're saying. The quitting now versus like if I have to,
right?
Yeah, I
doesn't really matter. But
I see what you're saying though. I feel like there's an opening for that here. He's like, so I decided to quit. Blah 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 blah. It could have been smooth, but who am I to judge the smoothness of this guy? So
plus they had 90 minutes.
They had 90 minutes. Yeah, well, And the other argument is they had 90 minutes. So
Gotta do something.
we're back from break. There's a big old party by the windless pool with a giant buffet and a band playing.
There's another, we've seen a few of these where they have like almost like a tracking shot that goes for a distance. And at one point, this woman is just inhaling this piece of cake or something. It's just like someone hands it to her and she just kind of goes after it. But
imagine how mad she was when this aired. She's like, no, I'm right here. Oh, damn it.
As the scene opens, Julie gets to make an announcement, which is very rare. And she's basically announcing that because of the big party on the deck, there will be no dancing in the Acapulco lounge. And that seems like an odd announcement to make, at least for now.
Yeah. Usually they're all for more dancing, not for less dancing.
But we later find out why they made the announcement. So.
Yeah. Gopher's alone drinking champagne. Here we go, Mike.
Team girl, gotta get you in my life.
He says, here's looking at you, Cheryl. I wrote the word no 5 times. There are 9 minutes and 44 seconds left in this episode, and we get another dream sequence.
7 dream sequences.
Like, just let us off the hook, man. I don't need another one.
How many flashbacks were in that stewing episode? 4?
4.
Yeah.
And this is just criminal what they're
like
doing
twice
here.
That.
It's Casablanca. Kinda.
Yeah.
So he lights 2 smokes. This is where it gets weird. One for him, gives one to Cheryl, but somehow he still has 2 of them in his hand.
He's fudding it.
I went back a few times. He is fudding it. Good call. Yeah. Weird. Cheryl says goodbye to Casablanca Gopher. Gopher's back in the real world, and Cheryl's here, and she isn't happy that he canceled dinner. She thinks it's charming to see such unabashed affection. She'd love to dance with him, and they dance on an empty dance floor without music, both humming as time goes by from Casablanca. I
did think it was funny, the small thing, but I did think it was funny that she kept calling him Rick, and he kept correcting her to Gopher. I thought that was a nice...
Yeah.
So, and I'm always a sucker for that kind of stuff. And like I said, if they had established that the 2 of them had an old-timey movie connection,
bond or whatever, common ground,
right? Like, why wasn't that? Honestly, they could have done that in the first scene with Doc. Instead of him being asleep in his room with the giant poster, he could have been reading a magazine with her on the cover
or something. It could
talking about that, so
or her with him reading a book. It could have been anything. There were so many easy ways to do it. After the Casablanca, I wrote, let's wrap this thing up. Whew.
Yeah.
Estelle and
just
Bertram.
remember they shot a bunch of people at the end of that movie. So
that's true. Didn't the plane explode? I don't know. I don't remember.
No. That would have been much different. That was Casablanca too.
It's sad. It's the Golden Globus version of Casablanca.
Wow, what a twist that would have been.
That would have been great. It'd been like Invasion USA or like Delta Force.
Reek.
Chuck Norris would have been in there too. Estelle and Bertram are exiting the ship. They think stewing for an enjoyable cruise. Reggie, he's leaving the ship holding up a sign that says, "Hi, I'm Reggie Jackson." He leaves
and they're
the autograph
screaming like he's the Beatles in 1964.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's been on the ship the whole time.
Yeah.
He leaves the autograph seekers to go talk to Lucas.
Oh, thank God.
Excuse me. Lucas thanks Reggie and Isaac. Millicent and Sherman leave the ship with Lucas. And I wrote one big happy family, I guess.
So Lucas says, that's my friend Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if I work hard, I could be good at Little League. And Millicent's like, well, that's something we're not afraid of. A little hard work. And it's like, what you should be afraid of? Is this husband of yours?
This psychopath Sherman guy, sure.
Oh,
hope you guys get home safely. Reggie tells Isaac to come see him in New York. Doc is starstruck. Says he was on the ship with O.J. Simpson, which is a bit awkward given the situation. That made me laugh.
Yeah. But at the time, that's like
Oh,
OJ's
totally
probably the
fine.
most famous athlete, right? Unless it's like
Oh,
Muhammad Ali. So
Bruce Jenner, like one of
yeah.
those.
So
Reggie talks to Cleo and invites her to go to the ballpark with him. We're outside. I love when they
it's been a
show a
while
different
since we've
set.
done the
It
cars.
has,
Yeah.
especially like end of show cab stand
Oh,
sort
this
of
was
deal.
like there was a stretch at the end of season 1 where we were getting this every week.
Every week. I
Yeah.
loved it. I think the last time we saw it was the Dabney Coleman getting on the ship was the last time we saw the
Coming in. Yeah.
coming in, but
Yeah.
going out it's been a bit.
Going out, it might have been that awful
The one,
Annette Funicello one where they wander around for like an hour. So.
Nothing happens. They just watch paint dry. Yeah, it's terrible. Bertram's opening the door for Estelle and joins her in the back seat. Bertram hops out, puts on his driving cap, gets in the front. And I really like this. This episode was terrible, but I like this part.
Yeah.
Estelle joins him up front. And I was like, oh, that's kind of nice.
I don't think they missed anything with that storyline.
No, it was fine.
Perfectly fine.
It was fine.
Made sense. Yeah, it was cute and charming. Yeah,
it was cute and charming. Gopher and Cheryl leaving the ship. Gopher in regular clothes, which is wild. And both are acting quite goofy together.
Yeah, they're doing Laurel and Hardy.
And Julie says,
and again, they're doing a very good Laurel and Hardy. Like, again, I give Haley Mills a lot of credit. She went with step for step with Fred Grandy. Like, absolutely step for step.
It was good.
So.
Good for her. Julie says it's a perfect match. And we're out. End of episode. No.
Total recap for this one. We currently are sitting at best episode 3, Cruise Ship Casanova, and the aforementioned Captain Dave. We have a tie for worst, episode 13, Pepito, and Dabney Coleman, actually. Episode 16, which was our Christmas episode, Stephanie at the gift shop, the allergic to your girlfriend, and my dad stole my girlfriend. So, well, you go first.
Mike, this is
pretty bad.
This is a different level of bad here. And I've thought this through. This is the worst episode, in my opinion, that we have covered in
the whole time
podcast. Wow. Absolutely. This is not just season 2 bad.
I'm trying to look at it through a couple prisms. One of which is what I said to start the show, which is I respect the swing. I do respect the swing of the dream stuff. That said, there were obvious things that you could have done better, including the reality portions
100%.
And maybe not having 7 dream sequences.
Yeah. Yeah.
You throw in the awful tug of war storyline and then kind of the Reggie talking in baseballese. It's like, I think you're right. I think I was probably more ready to argue about it, but I think because the other episodes are not, because we had the tie and there wasn't a clear one.
Right.
I think that's fair. I think this is the worst episode we've seen this season. And it didn't have to be.
It didn't have to be. No, not at all. It just
60 minutes of this
would have been fine.
You get rid of the tug of war.
Yeah,
you tighten up a couple of the dream sequences.
Have Reggie as the third story. Yeah.
And Reggie and Cleo is more the thing. I think it's probably a pretty decent
I don't disagree.
Because again, Fred Grandy is very talented. Haley Mills was very good in this. Like, if you had just done 3 or 4 of them and explained it a little more, you would have been okay.
Well, to me, it's not as much about the execution of the lines they were given. I just think that the writing was so, I don't know if it's lazy. I don't know what it is. Specifically, the tug of war one. It was just lazy.
And like, how much of the thing for you is the dream sequences in general? Like, was there a world where you would have been okay with it?
I would have been fine if there were like 2 or 3.
then that's fair.
I just thought it was too much.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, and I think you're right. And I mean, what we talked about, like the first one was unnecessary.
Completely.
Yeah. And again, to me, if you just give me a little more of the reasons why these two would be together,
100%. Give them the
you'd be a
common
lot
ground.
better. You'd be a lot better off.
You wait till the last 2 minutes of the show to establish any sort of
yeah, and that would have been cute.
It would have been cute,
And
they tried to make it cute, but it was just too late to be cute.
It was too late. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Captain of the week.
Listen, I'm biased. I go with Reggie Jackson on this. Childhood hero.
Yeah.
I thought, as far as non-actor baseball player, I thought he did a great job.
Oh, I agree. Like I said, I think there was a part, if you take out the him and Lucas stuff where he was just talking in baseball.
Yeah,
I think you could make an argument he was as good as anybody in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But for an athlete, for a non-actor, he was very good.
He was good.
I will throw it to the Millses, but not Juliet, which is disappointing because I am a fan. And the first half of her I was happy with, but the way it ended was not earned.
No.
As I've said like 20 times now, Haley Mills, I really appreciated the effort. And it's nice to see somebody who you've only really seen in one or two things.
100%.
Something completely different. And then John Mills was just outstanding.
He's just the man.
Smooth, debonair. I seriously doubt we'll ever see him on this thing again.
No.
But I think he qualifies as an old, so we might be seeing him in a few weeks.
I hope so.
Yeah. And you know what? Let's give credit to Fred Grandy. Regardless of what we think of the dream sequences, he basically played 8 different characters this week. That is 100%. Something. So
100%. Yeah, I can't fault him at all.
Yeah. Worst of the week, walk the plank.
Ben Jolson and Art Barr, sir. Plain and simple. What happened, guys? Boy, how the mighty have fallen. They really were money in the bank on those older episodes. Every time we would see their names and we'd go, yes, we know what we're getting. It's snappy. It's this. It's well written. I don't know what happened with this.
The fact that we are getting 4 in a row from them will be a really good indication of where they're at.
Yeah.
But they need, I will say this, they need one of these next 3 to be like in the consideration for best storyline of the season.
That's all they would need
to reach their level of last year.
100%. And the thing is, there's not that many episodes left this season for them to bring that. But one good episode would bring it.
It only takes one. Yeah, it only takes one. And again, the second half of the season, it's funny because all our worsts are in the back end here. But part of me thinks it's gotten better lately.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's been very up and down, but it felt like it was all down the first half of the season. And at least I feel like last week we enjoyed, it's been,
I feel the same way. I always feel like there was some sort of, upward momentum, like we were trending in the right way.
And again, the 90 minutes and the 2-parters are weird, and they did go for something here. So
it's to me, like, why do a 90-minute episode? What's the point? Like, if it's not a 2-hour thing, which you've done already twice, what is the point of doing a 90-minute episode?
I mean, we talked about it, right? It's the most watched show on Saturday nights this season. And so I think ABC is probably like, hey, we want to get big ratings. Give us an hour and a half of this and an hour and a half of The Island. And, Aaron Spelling is more than happy to oblige.
Well, plus, if you're doing the 290s, I mean, you're dipping into that 8 o'clock hour.
Right.
Which I'm sure CBS and NBC were thrilled about.
Yeah.
So then
I mean, if was that NBC or if one of the networks is running a movie they ran a month ago,
exactly.
So, I will agree with your Jolson and Bear, but also, Buddy Stanfield / Sherman,
always
awful, just awful, and I look forward to seeing him at the awards again. That is totals and a recap for this week.
Wonderful. It's time to check the old mailbag, Mike, and we do have a new email.
Hey.
This email comes from Leslie. Just wanted to send a thank you. Love Boat's my current gym show, and I have no one to talk to about the insanity I've been seeing. So your podcast has been very fun to listen to. I still laugh at your guest mention of the unhinged way Tab Hunter got out of the pool.
Oh wow, that's an old.
Jimmy.
That's Jimmy in episode 6. Way back.
And this is sort of fitting. You have some pretty great episodes coming up, including the Random Mills family reunion, which we just discussed now. Why the Mills? Why keep this acting dynasty completely separate on screen? Why did they give Gopher the worst storyline of any crew member? Why 90 minutes? I have no idea.
We were warned.
One other thing. We have a suggestion for a new Stubby Award, best/worst couple.
Well, we are doing best duo.
Yep.
We were going to call it couple, but we wanted to make sure the old ladies in the Smooching Bandit can get in there. But
that's true.
Yeah. So we will have best duo for this season. Worst duo is tough because I feel like we just capture that in the worst. I don't know that we've had that many couples that we hated. It's usually one person, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike Millicent on the level that I dislike Sherman. If that's
right, and like Rick, and you know,
right. There's always one. There's like the anchor,
the guy we don't like.
Yeah,
so.
Usually the guys stink on this show.
Yeah. So,
any plugs, Mike?
Yeah, Absolutely Hammered is back every Wednesday. As the baseball season is somehow like a month away, spring training.
It's crazy.
So yeah, you can get that on the Hitting Season Patreon. Absolutely Hammered.
Fantastic. Let me give out our email address. You can email us at loveboatproject@gmail.com. Also, you can find us everywhere you find your audio podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Player FM, and everyone's favorite, Deezer. Please hit that subscribe button and leave a review. It really, really helps. You can also check out the video version of our podcast on YouTube. Again, please hit that subscribe button and leave a review. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Look for weekly reels and updates. Looking ahead, Mike, episode 45.
I only know a little bit. I believe we have another stubby nominee coming in because I think there's a dog. I think there's a doggy in this one.
There's a dog. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, and our guest for next week is also a big dog fan. So
that's true. Also, speaking of guests, I believe this is our third game show host. We welcome the host of the Match Game. I mean, big ones though. Who are the big ones that we had? We had Monty Hall, who's still
Richard Dawson,
Hall of Fame, Richard Dawson,
Peter Marshall.
You know what? I forgot about Dawson. That's where
Bert Convey.
The
guy, businessman number one.
Businessman. So the rich tradition continues.
This show loves game show hosts.
They love it. So
we will see that. Honestly, we've had a shockingly good run of them for the most part.
I agree, except for the Monty Hall,
he
just played Monty Hall.
He should have been in this episode.
He would, just stand there, Mr. Hall. So that's next time, episode 45. Well, we did it, Mike.
Yep.
We did it. Anything to add before we get out of here?
Just one thing.
Oh, no.
Dream girl, gotta get you. Dream girl, gotta get you into my life.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Again, this has been episode number 44 of the Love Boat Project, and we will see you next time. Thank you.